Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to a new episode of the Somali Circle. Today we are here with Shuayb Abdullahi, who went from a healthcare professional to a tech giant, from living in London and suffering to thriving in Dubai. And he helps a lot of people to learn to code and to start freelancing. And I think, yeah, a lot of us could use his service. So let's start. um, you were a healthcare professional.
I was deep in the trenches of the NHS, the
Yeah.
National Health Service in the UK. Um, I did that as a degree, which is kind of funny when I think about it. When I first started a degree,
Yeah.
my dad actually tried to convince me to get into IT.
Really?
Back then, he was like, get into like do an apprenticeship, And at the time, I was young, I was naive, and I was like, you know what? I really want to do university. I feel like that makes sense for me. Let me just get into that because I was always told because my older sister is in healthcare as well, right? And my friends were getting into radiography and other stuff. I was like, you know what? It's an easy job to get into. Again, I was naive. So I was like, you know what? Let me just get into healthcare.
Mm.
And then, yeah, 3 years.
Normally it's like the opposite, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
normally it's like get into the health,
Yeah,
leave tech alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, fast forward 4 years later, I ended up leaving healthcare and um, getting into tech. And funny enough, that first year in radiography when I was studying, so the way it works is 50% of the course is theory, exams, and assignments, right? The other half, which felt like more than 50%, was practical training. So you're going to a hospital, and the hospital was an hour away from me, right? I'll get on the tube all the way to the end almost of the Piccadilly line, get off, do 8 hours, no pay, nothing, just experience, right? Which is fine. But then I wanted to do 3 years of that, and I did end up doing 4 years because the first year I failed one of the practical exams because I forgot to help a patient put on their coat. Imagine. Imagine that's how, especially in that hospital, that's how strict that person was, that tutor, whatever you want to call her. That hospital was called Charing Cross, but nicknamed Charing Chaos, because every student, bro, they were leaving in tears. Like they were so strict on the students. It was miserable going there. I was depressed, man. Like, and I was stuck with the hospital. And it wasn't just my hospital. Other hospitals and other students hated their job as well, hated the training. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, I need to do something else after uni. I just didn't know what. So in the third year, or I guess fourth year, but the last year of my degree, when I was doing my dissertation, this was 2020. And I ended up just looking at one guy's YouTube channel. His name was Chris the Freelancer. And this guy was for 3 months, he learned how to code in 3 months. But before even that, actually, all I saw was his videos, just him traveling, going to Bali, Indonesia, Thailand, Morocco, Brazil, and just working. Like, how does he do it? Like, I was just, how does he travel so much? Because that year or the year before, I went to Tunisia and I really enjoyed the holiday. I enjoyed like Arab countries. I was like, I really want to go back here. I want to travel more, not just for 2 weeks. So coming across his channel, realizing how he did it with tech and just learned coding 3 months and got a part-time job, freelance gig, and he just shipped himself to Indonesia and just worked from there, and for like $1,000 a month, but living like a king there because there's quite a lot of money over there. So I was like, I want to do this. Like, it's easy, clearly, it's not difficult. You don't need to have a degree in it. So I did a lot of research, and the only way I really convinced myself was once I saw a pattern where I think I saw a stat as well, was like over 50% or almost 50% of software engineers don't have a degree. So the self-taught, they have a boot camp, they did a boot camp,
Wow.
and it's like, okay, so it's quite a very open degree. You don't need to go to university, but also it's very teachable. It's just learning how to solve problems and using code as a tool. So I was like, look, I can do this clearly. And then I kept seeing all these other people. One guy, he used to work at a chicken shop and then got a job after like a year, and now he works at Google, as a software engineer, So it was like, clearly I can do that, I've got a degree, so how hard can it be? So I continued, I made a plan for myself, and what a lot of people don't do, that's what I tell a lot of my students, um, is I stuck to one thing. So I made myself a plan, like my own curriculum, which is kind of what I teach at the bootcamp, where for 6 months I learned, just one technology, did projects. I wrote everything down from what project I'm going to use, build. I mean, what courses I'm going to use, when I'm going to find a mentor, when I'm going to start looking for jobs. Everything I wrote it down in timeline, and that timeline is what allowed me to within 8 months, land my first job. After the first interview I did, I got an offer, but I said no because he asked me to move up to Bradford. It was very far from me. I said no. With the second interview I got, I passed, and it was like hybrid. So I was like, cool, let me just, and then I went to remote. So alhamdulillah, it was quite the journey, but it started with just me really wanting to just travel, really. So it wasn't a case of like I wanted to make a lot of money. Back then, I wasn't very entrepreneurial. It was only when I just continued working in the corporate world, even as a software engineer. I didn't even get up to senior level. I just ended up just going freelance, which allowed me to travel a lot more. Even my second software engineering role, it was fully remote. So I just went to Morocco for a month. I just worked.
I really like it about your journey, right? Most people think you get in this and have to get to the six figure a month and all that stuff, and you're like, no, I just want to be able to travel more. Like small steps, you got there.
Exactly. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So with even with the bootcamp, so one of our partners, he's a software engineer, been doing it for like 6+ years, and he never really thought about like doing anything else freelance because he had a set path for him. He went to university, he worked at a few companies. I think he ended up now I'm not sure when he moved, but he's in Morocco now. He lives in Morocco. He works there. He works from a UK company, but lives in Morocco with his wife. And he's pretty much heading up the software engineering course, and he's great at what he does. But it's funny because so many engineers are very much like focused on one or two things. But I see software engineering and coding just as a tool. So it is the tool that allowed me to like go to entrepreneurship and build other things rather than just project for someone else.
Yeah, sure. And when did you move to Dubai and why?
So Dubai was on the cards last year. So I traveled here in September 2023. And I stayed for 2 weeks, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, this is clearly the place for me. Um, there's a network here, there's a really good network here. It's obviously super safe. It invites entrepreneurs, and it's good for people who are building things, you know. So it goes beyond the Lamborghinis and the villas, right? It's more about like the people here want big things, you know, and are forward thinking, right? And are very innovative, and they're not complacent. Even like if you go to the gym, say everyone's like big and everyone's super focused, right? In the UK, it's just a bubble of like miserableness. You know, people just like are super complacent and they just complain, and that's it. That's all they do. They just complain. But and even Europe, I think everyone in Europe, I think, is the same. But here and the Middle East, I think is the new Europe, and I see the vision. Not just Dubai, but Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Oman, even. You know, all these countries are just like is kind of where is the place to be, especially if you're in business. So I moved here officially in April, but last year, 2024, and I stayed for about a month in Egypt, or just under a month in Egypt, because I was thinking maybe I should go there. I want to check that area out. Everyone's saying it's really good. Some people are hyping up, and some people aren't. So I thought I went to go see for myself. And the only really good thing about Egypt is that it's super cheap. That's it. Like
The only good thing.
the only good thing, really, like it has its charms, but the main driving force and the main reason why a lot of people go there is because they can live very well, comfortably for like $1,000 a month. So I was like, okay, I didn't really want to just go somewhere because it's cheap and limit my ceiling. So, and also there wasn't much of a community there apart from the people learning Arabic, you know. Wasn't where it's not really safe as well. So I ended up leaving, came here Ramadan, and I saw that, you know, there was a lot of good deals with apartments. It's not as crazy expensive as I thought it would be. It's not crazy hyped up. It's not like a lot of people think it's like there's this weird like thing about Dubai, but I was like, my plan was to go in September. I was like, you know what, let me just see how it is now. Not when when it gets too hot and prices skyrocket. Let me just see how it is now, and it's very good. So I thought, you know what, let me just move here, and I just ended up staying ever since.
Yeah. So I have been here for 10 days now. We were looking for a way to move because I think most Muslim people, but also like Somali people, want to move away from the West because um, the war against Muslims started there, right? So they're doing everything to get you out of their country. And I'm like, yeah, cool, let's go then. So we were like on a scouting mission here. And so what, like, there are multiple things that I see. Like, one, Dubai is not like as Islamic as I hope to be. And that could be a wrong view because I have been only in a touristic place, of course. But in like Sharjah is like more appealing to me because of the family, because of like more Islamic values. But a lot of people think like Dubai is very expensive, and um, but all the workers, everyone here,
Exactly, yeah. A lot of people here from different countries. It's very multicultural. It reminds me of London.
yeah,
Like, it reminds me of what London could have been.
Mm.
You know, it could have been a lot more inviting. It could have, now it's just gone downhill, right? And Dubai is like, you could spend a crazy amount, you know, or you can, you know, live comfortable and
the same goes for
it's still
London
cheaper than
too.
London.
Yeah, same goes for London too.
I
Because you
wouldn't
can,
say so. London, the
you
rent is actually higher than here.
yeah, but like I mean, you can spend a lot in London too.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true,
most
yeah.
people are like, okay, it's like one view of Dubai, and that's it. And what I think what I like most about Dubai or the Middle Eastern countries is like it's like 3 hours flight from our home country, so that's
It's
like
like 6
very
hours.
appealing.
It's
Huh?
quite- it's more than that. Like 6 hours. Oh, you mean Somalia? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Somalia,
think
yeah,
like
yeah.
Europe. I was like, what? No, Europe. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not Europe, but like
Yeah.
home is
Yeah,
like
Africa's nearby. Yeah,
Somalia
exactly,
first.
exactly.
So
You got Mecca like an hour flight, an hour and a half away.
yeah. How's the Somali community here? Are there a lot of Somali entrepreneurs?
Yeah, there's a bunch, man. We're kind of, well, we used to be more separate. We live in different areas. So there's a bunch in Abu Dhabi who born and grew up here. Al Ain as well, Sharjah, where all the family men are, and there are some in Dubai as well, just kind of spread out. But we meet up often. So we're supposed to meet up the other day, right? It didn't happen. Normally, there's always a big show out. I don't know what happened.
I really like that you have like your own communities here that are meeting up. We went there with the same community as you go normally.
Yeah, Ali and them lot.
Yeah, exactly. And we meet up, had brunch, discuss life, and
Even
so
Riyadh, I was in last a couple of weeks ago. I was at a tech event in Riyadh, and Ali was there as well. He was there with his work and a few other guys. And I messaged. I knew a guy who lives there, um, Ahmed, and he connected me with a few other brothers who were there as well. And yeah, we just had like I think 6, 7 of us had lunch and had tea a couple of times, watched the football. And Riyadh is a very nice. I'm growing to like it because the community is a lot better there, in my opinion. Dubai is a bit tough, but in Riyadh, they're very, very relaxed, right? The only thing is the driving there is terrible. Have you been in Riyadh?
No,
It's it's interesting. You see the differences. More conservative as well, and there's a lot more events happening. And I think Saudi is kind of the place to be the next 5, 10 years as well.
Yeah.
So the Middle East.
Are you thinking about moving there?
Maybe we'll see. Because it's only like an hour and a half away. I see myself going there often. Whether I move or not, depending on how things go. But right now, as long as I'm in the region, I'm cool.
Yeah, we're going too much into depth in this area because I think that's one of the most important things of entrepreneurship, that you have the ability to move with your family to anywhere you want, to where you like feel welcomed. And so in order to let people know like, hey, this is what you can achieve with entrepreneurship, I want to go delve back in. Let's say I'm like a truck driver and I want to learn to code, because like truck driving for 14 hours a day is not it for me. Where would you start?
So I've got a friend who actually in America, Somali brother, Khalid.
Yeah.
You should probably interview him if he wants to be here as well. He's from the States. You know him?
Yeah, that's where the example comes from.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he was a truck driver and he learned to code, got a job. I think it took him about a year. He does like mobile.
That's amazing. Most people think it should take like 10 years or 5 years or whatever, but it just takes a year.
Less than that. There's a guy I knew, and I did a short interview with him on YouTube actually when I got my job, because he used to help people he's helped junior developers get jobs. His name's Code Creative, somewhere on YouTube. His name's Tom, and he used to teach piano at schools. He has a degree in philosophy or something, and within 6 months he learned to code, got a job. like 6 months. And I thought it was like, you know what? So when I saw that video, when I saw that video on YouTube, I was like, there's no way that it's, it's not like, it's impossible at this point. Like, there's no way I can't do it.
And also 6 months, not even full timing. It's like
An hour a day, yeah, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. That's all you need. Like nowadays, especially with AI, yeah, the job market is a little bit tougher compared to like 3 years ago. But with AI now, there's more opportunity to even go into freelancing. So you can find clients, you can do AI work for clients. You can still like so many companies, especially in the US and Europe and here as well. They need people who are familiar with tech, build out websites, help build out their CMSs, e-commerce, Shopify, do their copywriting. As long as you're marketing and building, so like coding or using AI, those two things. If you know, especially marketing and sales, if you know marketing and sales, and I attribute coding, marketing, they're very similar in my views. You're just building things really, right? And building and optimizing. A lot of it is just based on data, right? And sales, which is the art of persuading, basically just communication, right? If you merge those two skills together, or if you do one or the other, you'll go you'll never ever go hungry, never.
Yeah, it's like a timeless. It doesn't matter if the market is. That's what I like about my job. It doesn't matter if the market is high. People need more marketing, more sales. And if the marketing is low, they need clients, so they need more marketing and sales. And I think the same goes also for tech. And you teach that in your programs. If we go with the example of the truck driver, because I actually want to show people like there is like a timeline that they can follow to achieve this. Let's go to your timeline that you did. You're a truck driver. You know, like okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm not with my kids. I don't play anymore. I'm just in a truck. I can't even brain mine prayers on time, and you have to switch to code or just to learn code, and you have like 2 hours a day.
So the biggest thing, or the first thing really to do is just to make a plan. And there's I always say just look for the jobs that are most common, and really that's just software development. I see people try and think of like try and do DevOps or cybersecurity, and it's very very tough to get into those fields without any prior experience. It always starts with the basics, and that's just learning how to code, learning how to build out software, and just knowing how a computer works. Once you do that, the next thing you do is get to making your first project as fast as possible. So what most people fall into, the trap where most new software engineers fall into when they're learning, is they don't stop watching tutorials. They keep watching tutorials and videos and trying to copy and trying to just watch videos, and that's it. But once you do that, you fall into tutorial hell, is what I call it, right? Tutorial hell. You just keep watching videos, and then once you try and do things yourself, you're stuck. So the best way to get out of that scenario is to watch maybe half of a tutorial, then do the rest yourself. And even senior engineers, they will look up certain things, ask ChatGPT or whatever, if they forgot certain function, how to call a function, whatever it is, right? And if you think about it, in an actual job, you're not gonna need to know everything from memory. That's not how it works. You're not memorizing lines of code. You're just knowing when to put those puzzles together to make the bigger picture. So 10 years ago, it used to be the case where you had to build out the individual puzzle pieces and then build out the software. Now it's gone so much easier. You just need to put the right pieces together to build out the software. So it's getting easier and easier. And I'd say the biggest thing to do is get to your first project, or the first 3 projects as soon as you can. Have 3 projects in a portfolio. And there are tons of portfolio templates out there. You can just get a quick landing page together, free. You don't need to build that portfolio yourself. You just need to have a template. I use a template, and I put those projects. So I remember I built an MBA stats dashboard for one of my projects that got me my second job in software engineering. And that job, in that interview, I actually ended up skipping the technical test. I told him, listen, bro, I know you have some test for me, but I don't want to do it. Why don't I just show you my project and show you every line of code, and let's do it like that. He agreed. I showed him. He liked it. I got the job the next day. Wow. Like instead of trying to be nervous and trying to be clever and trying to think of different ways you can do the test and practice and whatever, just have something ready beforehand. And by the time you do that, if you do that and have that initiative, which most junior engineers, especially the ones who do computer science, they just do those projects that they had to do at university, but they don't upskill. They don't build projects that are personal to them. I'm big with it. I'm big with the MBA. I love MBA, and I just found a public database, like an API that will that could call out, for example, the points of LeBron James the past 3 seasons or the last 4 MVPs, and I'll put it onto a chart. I'll make a chart that would move. It could be a pie chart, be a bar chart. You could type up the name of a player, it will come up. And turns out those similar technologies were what he wanted in the job. So because of that, it was like it's called data visualization. Because of that, and me messaging him on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn as well is a massive one. So let's say it takes you 6 months to learn how to code. The other 2 months is for job searching, right? And that's what I did. I spent 2 months job searching and doing interviews. And we always say, try and get to that position as soon as possible, because you will never feel ready to look for a job. And I had a mentor at the time, and they were like, yeah, just start looking for a job straight away. Have a cover letter for every job. A lot of people skip that. Just change the first paragraph of the cover letter to something that complements the company and just makes it more personalized to them. That's it. The rest of it is the same. Send out an email. And one of the ways I got my second role, so my first role I got on Indeed, but my second role now, LinkedIn, this was in 2022. It was a fintech company. I just DM'd him on LinkedIn. And I said, hey, he was using a technology that I knew. And I just said, have you tried using this instead, right? And I said, by the way, I applied for the job. Yeah. He saw it, he really liked it, had an interview. After I got the job, he told me one of the reasons why he got me into interview was because I messaged him. And most don't do that. I messaged the CEO of the company, right? Most people don't do that. They just think, okay, let me just apply and that's it. And I just pray. Doesn't work anymore. You need to have some sort of LinkedIn presence. You need to be actively messaging. Even like now in business, that's what I do with clients. Like I would message 25 people a week on LinkedIn minimum to get calls booked in and land clients. That's what it takes.
That's like a lot of things I see also with my own clients. When I consult them and I ask them like, how many outreach do you do per week? They're 0, but they expect clients coming out of it. Yeah, so it's like it starts already, and I really like how you broke down everything. And this also comes back into your program, right, where you just help people.
Yeah. So the other side of it is the freelancing program, where it's like, look, if you don't want to switch careers, or you do, but before you get a job, you want some clients and just some extra cash, right? A grand or two a month extra means a lot to a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. So with that, it will just be learning no-code web development, so building our landing pages, e-commerce, SEO, and also copywriting as well. So copywriting, my first clients, I think I got that in 2022, was on Twitter. It was inbound lead, was $7,000. And that was the first client with copywriting. And I was like, okay, this is, I was surprised. I guess they saw my tweet and I knew it was for a tech company, and they knew that I knew this particular no-code tool called Webflow. They saw my Medium blogs, so they knew I could write. I did a test article with them. They liked me, and we secured the deal. From there, I just had more clients based on what I was already doing, right? So email marketing and SEO. I did SEO and web development for another company, German company, the football agent of Mesut Ozil, Arsenal player. So he was one of my clients in 2022 or 2023, I think 2023. But that's from a referral. And then that ended up, one of our students ended up working for his agency, without his website. And then I found another client. So more about athletes, like just these people who are, so once you have one client, they will refer you to others. Yeah, sure. And that's when it became a lot easier, because then I can upsell them. I could do more like email marketing. I could just to message people on LinkedIn and audit their work, like, hey, look, this is what you could improve on. There's so many different ways, but when most people get stuck, and this is what we teach in the program, is that you get stuck in the learning part. But they're like, okay, what do I do now? It's like, well, it's not really rocket science. From there, just do outreach. Or I always say this, your first client will be someone close to you. Your friends, your family, your neighbor, someone out there has a business, always starting a business, right? From there, message them, do free work, maybe until you start making money for them, or charge cheap, whatever. Get your portfolio, then do outreach. or you could build a personal brand, right? So LinkedIn and Twitter, the best places to get clients, in my opinion. My first four-figure client was in 2021. I found, and back then I had like barely any followers, but I put a screen recording of one of the websites I built, and from there I got a DM. It didn't go viral, but it got some likes and some retweets from some people. And a business owner found it, and she was like, "Hey, look, I really need a website. This looks good. Let's get on a call." Bam. It was that easy. All I did was just post a website that I did for someone, my first website that I did freelance, for like £400, something like that. I was like, it was a quick landing page for a designer. Let me just, see what happens, and got a job.
Yeah, most people underestimate how much you can earn with little to no followers. In the sense of like, let's say you have like a product that costs minimum 2-3K, and 100 people see the post, which is for a lot of people like 100 people saw my post. That's nothing. But from those 100 people, two say yes, let's do your product. Like that's
You only need
even
one,
2%,
right? Yeah, exactly.
and then you are like on the 5-6K a month. So I think that's also one of the things we have to get out of is like charging, thinking about products that are like 20, 30, 40, 50 euro and getting into the more high-end products.
Yeah, e-commerce is a tough game. So I used to do a lot of e-commerce work for clients. So just websites, SEO, and things like that. One guy I knew, he has a abaya store. I was helping him last year, and so he does a lot. He does very well on Buddy. Like he does seven figures with the store. But the first year he did it, but he made no money. And most people don't have the persistence to carry on. Second year, I think he was doing like 50K a month, and then at the end of that year, he started doing like 100K months. And then in the Ramadan, I think I remember we got him to like 600K in the Ramadan alone, and that was just of some light work. I didn't even do too much work, but I just changed a few things on his website. And I remember this other one client, 2022, he had a store selling fire doors. So very niche, right? Super niche, and with just some light SEO work, but mostly just the actual website itself, fixing that up and changing a few things. We got him an extra 20K a month. So he started selling more of his door handles. That's it. So once you have traffic, and once you have a client that has traffic or is running ads, if you know how to optimize certain things, it's very
And
easy.
it's mostly copy,
to make the
right?
money. It's mostly copy.
Yeah.
It's mostly knowing how a website should be designed to to convert well and things like that.
Yeah. Amazing. So you help people to learn code. You help them get clients too. But before you, from coding to getting clients, you help them with internship.
Yeah, so mostly between learning to code and getting a role, that internship is critical because the only ones who get a job within a year or within a month, let's say, are the ones who really put in the practice. And an internship is something that I wish I had when I was learning how to code. Because around when I put my projects, so I used to put my projects that I did on the weekends on my CV as a job kind of thing. So I built out a project, I just listed everything that I did, almost as if it looked like work experience, right? Obviously the recruiter knows, but just the way it's laid out, they can see that I put time, thank you, I put time and effort into this, right? So the same goes with our internship. It runs for about 4 to 6 weeks. It's an external company here in Dubai, and they take on our students and they work with project managers, product managers, and other engineers to continue building out the software. So everything from like using tickets, testing, everything you would do in an actual software company, you would do here as well. And I've got another company as well, so it's a separate internship. So it's 2 internships, and the other one it will turn into more of a paying job. So after 3-4 weeks, or 4-6 weeks, they'll pay like a part-time salary on those students that actually do well. That's kind of how it works. Mostly because, like I said, if you don't have any experience, it's really tough for you to go out and look for a job with just having small projects. But if you actually built, software for actual real company, you'll be looked at more favorably.
Sure. Yeah. Nice. I like it. Looking further into the future, inshallah, we can't do that. But like, what are your plans for the future? Are you thinking about doing something in Somalia or Somaliland?
We'll see, you know.
Because the tech industry is there is like, I think the fast growing.
It is very fast, yeah. Yeah. Things are there. There's another big camp called Fikr, I think, and they're teaching the locals everything when it comes to coding. There's a guy as well actually I need to interview. Um, he I think he lives in Turkey from Somalia, and you know he wants to hop on projects and you know work with clients or just you know get paid in dollars rather than you know whatever they get paid over there, right, in lira or something. So, and he's out there freelancing, doing well. So there's a few things happening, and you know he lives in Turkey. He's from Somalia, right? So you know there's a kid in Bangladesh in a village, you know, earning more than your average Westerner. You think you know from like doing client work or coding or Upwork, and you see, I don't know if you've been on Upwork, right? You see all these like different talent profiles, and you see these guys from third world countries doing 100K, you know, 200K from the skills that they learned, you know, by themselves from just YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like, um, YouTube can of course teach a lot, but it's just easier to look for a mentor,
100%, yeah.
because like there are so many things that you can learn on YouTube. So for most people, some people can just get away. You could get away with the YouTube content, but it's very hard to uh, know which content you need
Yeah, exactly.
to
And
improve.
yeah, so the content is one thing. Then also, like, for example, if you're looking to get to a job, you need some kind of mentor for that side of things. I had a mentor. They were they did a biology degree and then did a 1 year top up degree, and they got into software development, worked in ASOS and companies like that. And very easy for me to go forward with everything because I knew what I was doing because I had that coaching. Even with the business that I'm doing right now, like I get clients through LinkedIn, but the way I managed to properly get that is through coaching. I still have a coach right now who helps me on LinkedIn write better content, do better outreach, pay them monthly to get to my goals. You know, so investing in yourself is always is never like it's never something you should ever think about regretting or hesitating on. And on the flip side, you won't get an instant ROI. You know, you need to actually do things yourself to get the ROI. So a course won't help you get rich, but it'll get you closer and it'll get you there faster than if you try doing things yourself. Because most people, when they do things themselves, even me, it's very tough to like stay motivated if I don't know exactly where I'm going. And yeah, I could watch these YouTube videos, but if I see someone who'd done already, even if I just pay them for an hour just to you know for a call, that is you know massive ROI.
Yeah. Looking at the new generation of Somali entrepreneurs, what do you think is a skill, mindset shift that could help them advance into their lives?
Uh, it's a good question. I'd say the best thing for small entrepreneurs right now is to lean into risk, especially the ones who are in Western countries and who have a stable job. Let's say no kids or anything like that, and they just live in their parents' house. It's the easiest thing to do is to lean into your risk right now at that stage of your life, because you could always go back to a job. You know, I told myself when I was going freelance and I left my tech career, I could always go back. I could always go back. I could do something else. I can get into marketing full time if I wanted to. I can always go back to a job because I'm educated in the West. I've got loads of experience. It's that simple, you know. But if you never end up doing it, and then you'll just end up trying to, or not even try to, you'll just have more reasons not to do it because you'll have wife, you'll have kids, you know, you have more expenses. So things will get harder to do it later on down the line. So leaning into risk is one thing. Another thing is I'm big on like short form content, as in I'm very negative on it. TikTok, I'm very against TikTok. I'm quite loudly on Twitter. Like I absolutely hate TikTok. I think it should be banned, and inshallah it will be banned
Why?
because it fries your attention span. It just destroys your mental state. You can't focus on anything, even things like relationships and you know like I have friends. I'm sitting at dinner with them, and they're just on their phone, like just they can't stop, you know. And if you're like that, how are you ever going to build something for yourself? You know, if you can't even focus on one thing, you know, even your salah when you're praying, you know, like the biggest thing you should focus on and try and look after is your attention. Because these apps, we may think it's free, but they're not. It's not free at all. You know, we're the product.
Yeah,
right?
they cost you mental health.
Exactly,
They
they
cost
cost, yeah, yeah,
your
yeah. And
relationships. Yeah,
yeah, it's not good at all. So, now unfortunately it's everywhere. Instagram Shorts, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, but TikTok is the main one. And if you can go there, focus and just like, let's say people spend an average probably of more than 1 hour, but let's say an hour every day on TikTok. If you just remove that 1 hour and just put it onto focusing on a skill, 6 months you're way ahead of everyone.
for sure. Um, okay, so it's easier said than done, right? Because especially the new generation grow up with, I think it's not 1 hour, it's like 4, 5,
Yeah,
six
I'm sure.
hours,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Even I scroll still like 2 hours a day. Most of the time, I'm like for my client work and stuff. So there's also a difference between creating on it and consuming on it. So it's TikTok is amazing if you are the creator, if you have a product, because the attention is
Oh,
there.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
what you're talking about is like the mindless scrolling on TikTok and this kind of platforms. Are there any systems you put in place
Just delete
to?
it. Just go to it, just delete it. I've never had it on my phone. I've never actually
Yeah,
downloaded
yeah.
it before. I used to think it was so stupid. Just people dancing, right? Even Instagram, if I'm scrolling, I don't have any social media on my phone for the last maybe 3 months. I I use it on Chrome. I have Twitter on there. I want to post, want to check DMs. Instagram, I have it on my iPad, so I don't even have it on my phone anymore. But I'd say you can have it on your phone, but just be mindful. Like after a few scrolls, just be like, okay, look, is this good use of my time? Like if I ask you right now, do you remember the first TikTok you watched this morning, or even the last one you watched this morning? Probably not, right? Exactly. So like if you don't remember it, what's the point?
Exactly.
You know?
It's not that
And
important.
we bookmark them all the time, but are we gonna look at them again? Probably
Exactly.
not, you know? So I see the point. I see no point.
I think that's an amazing end of this beautiful conversation. Thanks for your time, for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
And I think we will just list down all the links to how they can, maybe if they want to learn a skill and want to do the short routes, they come to you, or need help with freelancing or finding jobs. So I just want to thank you, and as always, like share this conversation to the, especially to the Somali youth, but everyone could use this. And we will see you in the next episode.